Well, it is a big day on Capitol Hill tomorrow. The House will vote to choose their next speaker. Republican Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy is vying for the position, but he's having a difficult time trying to secure the 218 votes needed to win. There are some far-right Republicans who refuse to vote for McCarthy unless he makes certain concessions. NewsNation D.C. correspondent Joe Khalil confirmed McCarthy gave in to a big one this weekend. Two GOP sources tell NewsNation that McCarthy agreed to a rules change that would allow just 5 members of the House majority to vote out the speaker whenever they want. Khalil learned this is frustrating for Republicans who did not support this concession. Their anger is directed at Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz, who still won't commit to voting for McCarthy. This all comes as a new letter signed by 9 conservative Republicans declares that McCarthy's efforts to meet their demands aren't enough. The 9 members who signed the letter wrote in part, "There continue to be missing specific commitments with respects to virtually every component of our entreaties, and thus no means to measure whether promises are kept or broken." It's unclear if McCarthy's latest major concession will sway this group. So the question remains, can McCarthy lock down the votes? And to talk more about that, I'm joined by Kevin Madden. He's a political analyst and former senior advisor to Mitt Romney's presidential campaigns. Thank you so much for joining us, Kevin.
Good morning, Kelly. Great to be with you.
Great to have you. So let's cut right to the key question. Do you think McCarthy can secure the votes he needs?
I don't. One of the reasons why is because if you look at that group of 5 votes that are definitely no's right now, I don't think there's really anything that can persuade them other than not having Kevin McCarthy as their choice for speaker. So you're trying to persuade the unpersuadable. And then in addition to that, Kelly, you have probably 10 to 15 soft no votes that McCarthy's trying to negotiate with, and every time he gives over a bit of a concession, they come up with a new demand. So the math is very, very difficult right now. And, you know, if the certainty of these votes is usually dictated by the leadership on whether or not they have the votes. And it seems like if you're negotiating on the eve of the vote, that the certainty is not there. So
how long then will it take for us to get a speaker, if that then is the case?
Well, that's still unknown. We could probably see several ballots. So we could see 2 or 3 the rounds of voting yesterday or in just one day. And maybe it could take a couple of hours and there'll be some sort of concession or a new candidate will emerge. Or we could go into this for several days. And I think that's the real problem right now, which is that the greater the level of uncertainty and the greater of chaos and instability, I think the more that actually feeds in to the insurgents who are holding out for another speaker. I don't think Kevin McCarthy can last a couple of days of round and round votes. Sooner or later, I think the leadership team will have to make a decision on whether or not they can come up with another consensus candidate in order to just do the work of the House.
So, Kevin, in your opinion, do you think most of this pushback from hardline conservatives is seriously meant to get results from McCarthy, or do you think this is a show for their base?
I think it's a mix of both, to tell you the truth. But if I had to choose one of those, it's really a show for the base. You have 5 members who are anybody but Kevin McCarthy. And the reason they're doing that is that they want to show and send them, they want to show that they have the leverage, and they want to send a message that they're the ones that are in control of this conference. They're the ones that are in control of this party. And they're going to use this fight to send a big message to the base that they're the ones in control. And I think the fight is exactly what they want right now in order to send that message to their base.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.